Okay, it's called to order. Oh, there. Okay, get the declaration of a quorum, please.
Matthews? Madison?
Here.
Ogden?
Here.
Stevens?
Here.
Victor? Seymour?
Here.
Richter?
Here.
We have a quorum.
All right. I'd like to ask Mr. Bill Ruth to do the invocation, please. We'd all stand.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, please be with us tonight and help us and our leaders to make good, sound decisions which will find favor with you, Lord. Help us to do work well together and show one another kindness. And please guide us back to our homes again safely tonight afterwards, Lord. It's in your name that we pray. Amen.
Amen. And now for the flag salute. Attention, salute, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Now, item number 1 is the introduction of the Shawnee 2025 student-teacher delegation for the Sister Cities Exchange trip to Nikaho, Japan. That's Ms. Jessica Brown.
We've practiced this, but it's very nerve-wracking once they get to that point.
I know the feeling.
Good evening.
Good evening.
How are y'all tonight?
Good,
Yes,
good.
you have to, sorry, big group. My name is Jessica Brown. I am the chairman of Shawnee Sister Cities. I would like to say thank you for having us here tonight. We are taking a student delegation with us. These are all 7th graders going into 8th grade because we have all finished school. Yay. Anyone else excited? We are, because we work in education. So we will be leaving the end of July into the first week of August, and it's for a week trip. All these students applied in the beginning of January, and they went through a essay selection, interview selection, and then they also had to get references from teachers and community leaders. So, and if it's okay, we would like to introduce ourselves to you guys.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, say your name, grade, and what school.
Hi, I'm Emma Bryan. I'm in 7th grade and I go to Shawnee Middle School. I'm Molly Newsom. I'm in 7th grade. I go to Shawnee Middle School. I'm Chloe Yates. I'm in 7th grade and I go to Grove Middle School.
I'm Elena Baggett. I'm not a 7th grader. But I am the 7th grade counselor at Shawnee Middle School.
I'm Sawyer Bias, and I'm a 7th grader at Grove.
I'm Benny Walker-Paul. I'm a 7th grader at Grove.
I'm Solon Smith and I'm a 7th grader at Grove.
I'm Colin Howard. I'm a 7th grader at Shawnee Middle School.
I'm Kate Sanders. I'm a 7th grader.
And again, my name is Jessica Brown. I am the counselor at Will Rogers Elementary for Shawnee Public Schools. And we had Shawnee Middle School, Pleasant Grove, Liberty, North Rock Creek, and who am I missing? South Rock? Just say Grove. Grove. To apply for our delegation. So again, we just want to say thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to go to Nikaho, Japan. We had 5 years of a gap that we did not get to go to due to COVID. Last year, we got to take our 2024 group and our 2023 group to Nikaho. So again, thank you so much for this opportunity.
Congratulations,
Yeah,
guys.
congratulations.
You're gonna have a good time. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we're going to get in a group. Let the man through. I know, well, they're 8th graders, I know, right? That's cool. Thank you so much. Thank you. You too. Okay, y'all Hot Wheels back over there. Y'all have a good evening. Thank you.
Okay. On to item number 2, citizen participation. As always, it's 3-minute limit per person, 12-minute limit per topic. And we first have Brandon Lovelace.
Hello, council members.
Good evening.
My name is Brandon Lovelace. Give me a second.
Yep. Take your time.
I'm here in regards to 8 and 9 on the agenda. I do not want y'all to revoke my lease at all. I've lived in this community for the last 20 some odd years. My dad purchased that property from a buddy of his 20 some odd years ago. He left it to me and my cousin Sean. My cousin Sean cannot be here right now. He's at work, so he's trying to make some money. We've been working very, very hard to get ourselves caught back up in this life. We lost him 3 years ago, and it's been very difficult. I recently just got all of my debt except for the code enforcement lease. I haven't gotten that taken care of yet. I have a plan to have it done within the next 30 days. I've been working on it. As a matter of fact, tomorrow I was supposed to go by there and at least try to make some sort of payment to them. And I had a very good friend give me a call and let me know about this today, and I really appreciate that. I'm just asking for y'all to have some understanding and some compassion and give me that opportunity to keep my place for the next 30 days at least, to where I can get that paid off. I don't want to be here in front of you asking any of y'all for this. I wished I had already had this paid up before today. I have no excuses other than I've made some bad decisions here and there, and I should have made a little bit of better ones as far as where I put my money when I did put my money there. I shouldn't have paid this bill or that bill. I should have took care of this first, and that's on me. So,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you, Brandon. Okay, next up is Audrey Seeliger. I think I said that right.
Good evening, everybody. We're all here to announce Health Week for 2025. We're at over 10 years of healthy activities every year. This year it starts actually right now. We're kicking off with pool season this weekend. We've got different events. You can find all of our activities on Shawnee, it's Health Week 2025, Shawnee Parks and Recreation, Pogo's website, Avitas's website. Basically anywhere you can find information out on the roadside of all the different activities that we're going to have across Shawnee. At Kids Space, we're going to have a special speaker on Thursday out at the expo. I mean, there's truly something for everybody. So come on out. Anybody have anything else you want to share? Their favorite activity?
It's not too late to sign up for the speaker luncheon. You really, really will enjoy it. A kids clinic that afternoon if you have youth that would really, really want to participate with a former NFL player. It's amazing. Our partners help us make this happen. The Pioneer Library System, Shawnee Parks and Rec, Shawnee Senior Center, Pogo. We have our friends that help us with the library, Maybe Gear Museum, and so many others.
We have the whole Shawnee football team coming. This is going to be a great speaker. It's a free lunch, and it'll be very inspirational. So we'd love to have you.
Seniors,
and the whole community, if you're watching.
Our recreation center is going to have activities for seniors over 55 all day, from 8 to 5. Pickleball until you cannot pick a ball anymore. Snacks, free T-shirts, really all the fun.
And then Friday's so fun at Kids Space. Younger kids earlier, older kids later. It's going to be amazing. So get your kids out there. Come have fun.
There'll be some great prizes at Kids Space. We'll have food trucks, and I do have to say, for the free throw contest, there may be some Shea Gilgeous-Alexander jerseys for the top free thrower. So who wouldn't want that right now?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. Hope to see you out there, Shawnee.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Mr. Fred Turner.
Good afternoon, or evening, I guess.
Howdy, Fred.
Hi, how are you doing? Well, I wanted to talk about a few things, and I think they won't cost the city very much money. But the first thing that I might suggest to the board or the commission is that I think we need to have 2 meetings a month. Shawnee has a budget of $33 million and a capital budget of $73 million, so that's $100 million. And I think we need 2 meetings a month. We used to have 2 meetings a month when the city was a lot less complicated than it is now. Second, I'd like for, like I said, the operating budget is about $33 million, something like that. Well, I'd like to take at least 1% of it and patrol the streets better. I live on Union in between Will Rogers and the middle school. And it's like a racetrack with all the traffic that's been diverted from Harrison and Kickapoo. In fact, 2 years ago, about March of 2023, I complained to the city, and the next day, a police car, I said, "You can park in my driveway." Well, it was an unmarked police car. And we caught 2 speeders at 12 o'clock right around lunchtime in 10 minutes. Now, the next day, they put a marked police car, and we caught none. So I'm telling you, it is a dangerous area, and it needs to be patrolled. And we have $33 million, and, you know, they can read a tag from the moon. So you'd think I think maybe, does the police not want to catch these offenders? And I hear there's one guy on a motorcycle, I hear him all over town. In fact, I heard him today. He went kind of down Kickapoo, and then he went up, came up Harrison, then came down MacArthur. And I don't know if it's the same guy or not. There was another thing is that, and I don't know if this will come up or not, but, okay, we have a recycling program, and I don't know if you've already approved the budget the contract for that recycling program or not. And when it first got started, it was about $3 or $4 per customer. And we had about 8,000 units, sanitation units. And so but now we still have about 8,000, and I think the bill is at least $8. So that's $64,000 a month that the city pays to the disposal area, and recycling doesn't work. So anyway, you can find $64,000 there.
Thank you, Fred.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Ms. Cindy Berger.
Hey y'all, so I wanted to come up here. I've been coming to this board for about 2 years now. Same with the school board with my concerns for the school. And the reason I keep coming back here is because I had questions about who the school resource officer reports to. As you guys know, that is, I've been told, is the police chief. The school resource officer is at the school to act as a police officer, and he reports to the police chief. So If you guys have seen on social media, I have finally gotten a lot more attention with a video I posted because my daughter had to have a sexual harassment incident at school. This incident, I was not called by anyone. I was called after I left a voicemail, after my daughter called me, almost 2 hours later. I got called by the principal with the police officer on the line also. He was not even announced that he was there until I heard him speak in the background, and I had to ask who all is on speakerphone. Since then, I have heard from so many parents. I've heard from a mom whose daughter was assaulted with brass knuckles at the school. That mom, that girl that had the brass knuckles, her mom was employed as in the library and is now a teacher at the school. There has been no criminal charges against that girl, and as you know, brass knuckles are illegal in the state of Oklahoma. So the fact that she had them at school and the school resource officer was there should be a concern to this city. Same thing with the mom whose daughter got beat up by several boys, and the daughter was the one that got in trouble. A mom whose special needs kid was treated like a criminal for having behaviors that the school were not able to control and blamed him for their failure in dealing with it. There's been moms and dads both removed from school property for 6 months over words because they got into an argument with an administrator. That doesn't put anyone at risk. This problem should be a concern to the city because with sexual harassment, there are specific policies and laws that have to be followed. And when you have a police officer inside of the school that is not doing his job, that opens up a very big liability to the city if there were to be a huge lawsuit. And I think anybody should be concerned that, you know, this mom that the brass knuckles, she's stuck with a $9,000 hospital bill because whose fault was it? I mean, nobody can tell her. Just like nobody can tell us anything about this child that's sexually harassing kids at school. We're told it was reported before. We were told by the school that it has never been reported before. There's parents that this kid has touched. There's parents that have reported this themselves. And this message that came from the school district, you all read it, it said nobody has reported this before, and there was an investigation and that by police and the school, and they found no wrongdoing. Thank you.
Thank you, Cindy. Okay, on to item number 3. Consider approval of consent agenda.
Move to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Motion carries 5-0. On item number 4, presentation of the Pet of the Month by Animal Control. I'm sure they're out there somewhere. Here we go.
See your new dog.
I know. Oh, and I love spotted dogs.
Do you need a healer?
You gonna take her home? My husband would kill me. My husband would kill me. She's so cute.
Very friendly. This is Fanta.
She's sweet.
She's very well behaved. She likes other dogs. She loves people, as you can tell. She loves her tennis ball.
Aww. She's already the color of the lake too. It looks like she's been bathing in lake water. It looks like she's been bathing in the lake. Yeah.
She's kind of got that red.
Yeah.
That red dirt.
It's actually her hair, I believe.
No, I love it. I love it. Oh my gosh.
Show them what you do. First one, right here. Oh. Anyway, so I want to tell you guys a little bit about our month last month. We took in 39 animals. We had 6 reclaims, 1 transferred to rescue, and 23 adopted out. So that means we had 30 animals that went out and 39 in. So it was a good month.
That is a good month.
Great.
Huh.
This is, you need this dog.
I know.
She's a little too smart. I would like to say a big thank you to SPAR. We had a little dog come in that had an eye infection, and come to find out her inner eyelid was tore. It wouldn't have made her adoptable, but because of SPAR, they paid for her surgery, and we were able to adopt her out. So,
Nice.
anyway. So this is Fanta.
She'll do anything for snacks.
Oh, yeah.
Anything.
And some things without snacks. Aww.
And what are your adoption fees?
$10.
$10.
$10.
They're all spayed and neutered and
Spayed and
ready
neutered,
to go.
and they have their rabies shot.
Yep.
So,
Oh, she's precious.
and she loves to go for rides too.
I can be your buddy. We're at the coffee shop, get a cup.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, by the power of the chair, we're going to bypass number 5 and go directly to item number 6, which is the public hearing for the City of Shawnee proposed 5-year capital improvement plan for fiscal years 26 through 30. I'm calling Kimberly Smith.
Good evening. I have no information or changes with the CIP. You guys have all received the book, so if you have any questions, I'll answer.
Questions for Kim? Okay, now we'll open the public hearing. Is there anybody here to speak for this or in reference to this item? Okay.
Lost the sheet I was looking at, but it's very interesting. The capital budget, whatever is proposed, is $73 million. Now, do the city commissioners have their worksheet here? Do you have it with you?
I do not.
Oh, great. Well, anyway, if you look at it, this is a very poor disclosure of the capital budget. These numbers don't even go across.
Right there.
Now, you can get to the number by adding the number across the bottom and adding it up, and you get pretty close. But you don't know that you spent capital improvement fund and capital in fiscal year 2026, you spent $500,000. Okay, now you go over here to the total 5-year, and it's supposed to have $500,000 there. Okay, now look at this other one. You go, look at the street improvement fund. It goes around 988, blah, blah, blah. All of a sudden, it sticks in $40 million. There isn't any way those 5 numbers add up to $40 million. Okay, now look down at the street improvement 302, 303. You add those numbers up, it comes up to about $10 million and something. And this chart shows $2,500,000. You see what I'm looking at? You see that, Mayor?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is very misleading, and I think you should defer this until you get something that's more accurate, disturbs and discloses what the city budget, proposed capital budget is. You want another example? Look at, here's a good one. 501 Shawnee Municipal Authority. In 2026, you spent $18 million. Okay, 2027, you're going to spend $602,000. 2028, $732,000. In 29, $1,820,000. Okay, and all that adds up to $8 million? Are there any questions about the chart? Don't you think you need a better disclosure to the citizens of Shawnee what your capital budget really is and how it's allocated? Any questions of me about how I came up with that? It's not very hard to do. It did take me a long time to figure out where in the world they got up with these numbers. That's all I had to say about the proposed capital budget. But it is $73 million, and you add that with $33 million of your operating budget, that's $100 million. You think you'd be able to find some money to patrol the streets, open the aquatic center on July the 4th? It's always been one of my pet peeves that it's the most important holiday of the summer and our aquatic center is not open. And what would it cost? You'd have to pay some people extra money to work. And also about the recycling program, those items do not work. So in my opinion, you're throwing away $64,000 a month. I'll give you some leeway. Okay, you're throwing away $40,000 a month. And you could use that for the homeless people. People don't have the food they need, and the recycling things they've always been a joke. And we were promised, I remember when it was passed way back, like, I don't know, 2000, the recycling said, okay, we're going to give you a report on how our recycling programs do. And so demand a report from Central Disposal what happens on the recycling program. I mean, you're just throwing the money away, and you could use it for other things. To me, $40,000 a month is quite a bit of money. Any questions?
No.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, now we'll close this public hearing on item number 6. You want to speak? Okay. Come on up, Robert.
Thank you. I'm going to say that I'm speaking against it because there's something that I'd like to know why it's not in there and what we plan on doing with that money. And in 2018, we did that sales tax, and part of that money was for a fire department training center, which would have allowed the fire department to actually make money, aside from doing their own training. That money is still there. It's never been appropriated for anything else because we've never voted on anything else for it. So that $300,000 or $400,000, correct me on which one, is still there. So I'd like to know if and when this is going to be a part of the next 5-year capital improvement plan. And until we know what that money, which everybody out here voted on, is going to do, then I would say I'm against this capital improvement plan. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else before we close this item? Okay. We'll move on to item number 7, public hearing for the City of Shawnee proposed budget for fiscal year 25 through 26. We'll call on Kimberly Smith again.
Since my presentation back in April, we've not changed anything with the budget. So what we presented in April is what we're presenting tonight.
Okay.
And if you have any questions.
No questions. Okay.
Thank you.
We'll open a public hearing on item number 7. Anybody here to speak on item number 7?
Hello again. I would have to say the same thing I did for the capital improvement plan. I'd have to say is another reason I'm against the actual budget. But then I would also add one extra thing that I talked about last month, and that's the city attorney's office. We can't even budget for how much that's going to cost us every year because we have no idea because everything we pay them is by the hour. And I'd like to remind everybody that all the other city staff in this room, to my knowledge, is salaried, which means they have to be here. He's the one that gets paid no matter how long this meeting is. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else on item 7?
I'll say something about item 7.
Okay, this is a budget summary by fund. The main problem I have is the disclosures on this budget are very lacking. Okay, and if anybody have their budget in front of you, let me open some suggestions you had on there. Okay, where it says beginning fund balance, and then you have you need a percentage number in there. It tells you, right without having to calculate it, what I had to calculate, said how much is a percentage of all these things? Okay, so it's easy for you to pick up, okay? Let's see, the community development for between 2025 and 2026 went from 605 to 720,000. Okay, well, I said, well, how big an increase is that? Okay, it's 18%. So I think you need more, it goes through the whole budget is like that. There's lack of disclosure all over the place. All right, now also, here's another good item. That's why no one can ever figure out what the city of Shawnee is doing. Okay, look in the first revenue, in the revenue column on the front page. Okay, it says transfers in. $6.256 million. Well, if it wasn't for that transfer in, the city would lose money for the year. But where does the transfer in come from? Y'all are our board of directors. You've got to know where this money comes from and where it goes. There's nobody else to do that. Also, and then right at the bottom on expenditures, you see transfers out. Well, there's $867,000 goes out. Well, where in the world does it go? All right, now, so that's the first page on the budget summary. And I don't know how you could pass a budget so lackly disclosure. I suggest you go back and work on it again and tell the citizens what in the world's going on. The same thing with the next page, the grant fund. Okay, it needs a percentage columns in there. Okay, in the very bottom on the ending budget fund reserve balance, okay, for 2024 to 2025, it had 222,000. Do you see where I am on that, the next one? Okay, for proposed budget 2025, 2026, it's zero. So where did I don't understand how we got to that. I did spend a little bit of time on it. Okay, now look at the next one, 101 Street and Alley Fund. Okay, the revenue transfers in, 269,000. Well, where did it come from? Where was it transferred in from? If you'll remember, probably 20 years ago, we had this big hullabaloo about where was the missing $7 million. And they said, well, we transferred it, y'all just didn't pay attention. Like I remember very well what the city attorney said about that, the current city attorney. So the transfer in is $269,000. Okay, now where did it come from? And then you go down, and I don't know if anybody would approve a budget like this. Expenditures, public works, just one line item. $558,000. Well, what did you spend it for? Don't we get some kind of itemized? Do y'all see things that we don't get to see? Aren't you supposed to disclose things that y'all look at that we're entitled to as citizens? I'd never approve a budget. The guy sent it to me. He says, okay, we spent $558,000. What did you spend it on? Oh, I don't know. We just spent it. Okay, now go to the next page. The emergency fund, E911. Well, now that needs a percentage things too. Police Department and Emergency Management, it said expenditures, it just goes, there's no description. Okay, so, and it says we're not going to spend anything in 25, 26. You'll see there's nothing on that line. Okay, now we go down to, and as a little bit of an aside, it's still related to your budget, I think we should have, we have an emergency management person, don't we? Why can't we have tornado shelters for the city? The school of North Rock Creek has them. Why, we spend $100 million and we can't have any place to have for shelters? And I'm sure the attorney said, well, we don't want the liability. Well, the North Rock Creek figured out how to handle the liability. So why couldn't we figure that out? And remember, people that can't drive can't go to a shelter, and so they need shelters. Okay, now let's go to the Economic Development Fund. Okay, we got, it needs percentages on there, just like all the other things. And revenue, beginning fund balance, $360,000. Revenues, $406,000, so that gets total revenue, $767,000. Okay, economic development, look, go across there, and it went up from, in 2024 to 2025, it went up from $388,000 to $660,000. Now that's a lot of economic development. But again, there's no description. What was it for? Was it for pamphlets? Or was it for traveling? Was it for bringing in potential businesses to locate here? Was it for ads on TV? I mean, what was it for? All right, now go to spay and neuter fund. Now this, I don't understand this at all. Didn't we expand you'll have to help me a little bit. Didn't we expand the animal shelter recently? Didn't we increase the size? We didn't add to it? I'm asking a question.
There's a new location on
Oh.
the CIP.
Yeah, we're building a new one.
Yeah, we're building it.
Yeah, we're
now.
building a new
Yeah,
one.
you're building a new one. Okay,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah, but
That's
it's not built
another,
yet.
that's
Okay,
another
well-
fiscal year, so.
I was looking at the other revenues, whatever that is, total revenues, expenditures, 2,200, I guess I was assuming that was a spay and neuter fund. That was where we got the revenue for $2,200, because that's what it says. Spay neuter fund, $2,200. Well, based on what it costs to spay and neuter, that's about 20, maybe 25. If you get a discount from the veterinarian, he does it for free. That's got to be a bogus number, or not? That's not bogus. That's very inappropriate. Okay, the hotel. Now we'll go to the hotel and motel surcharge fund. Okay, it needs those percentages things, and it looks like we've got beginning fund balance $631,000, taxes, which are on the hotel and motel rooms, I assume. Other revenues, what, $17,000, and then it says expenditures, tourism, but and it doesn't tell us what that's for. Is that for pamphlets to hand out to travelers to come in and, or what is that for? We need more, don't want to, some of you men are businessmen, and all three of you are. Well, you wouldn't approve a budget that says expenditures. I'm one of your men that works for you, said, I need $595,000. I said, well, what are you going to spend it on? Well, we're going to spend it on tourism. All right. Now, the police sales tax fund. Okay, it comes along revenue taxes, so I assume that's a special tax that was passed. Okay, now there is another line, it goes expenditures transferred out. To where? Where to go? And also, none of those things are added up as you go along the bottom. Look at that on 107. You see that? Isn't that supposed to be added up? Or it's always zeroed out, but you ought to put a zero. All right, fire sales tax fund. Same questions about, the main thing is it's not the balances aren't correct, but it also says expenditures transferred out. Now, where did it go? I assume someone knows where it went. And it probably went where it's supposed to go, but you need to tell the citizens so we can follow through this. Okay, well, they transferred out for $508,000 to a new fire truck or whatever. All right, insurance recovery fund. Now, I haven't figured this out yet exactly. Okay, 603, in beginning fund balance is 2 million of, I'm going to the far right. See, you need a percentage thing on there. You could tell you how well you're spending your money easily. Okay, on beginning fund balance, it's 2 million plus. Well, I don't know what the other revenue is. That's 50,000. What's the other revenue? Is it interest? Is it interest income? What is it? It should say, okay, other revenue, interest income, which I guess I don't know. That's some things you guess on. Okay, and total expenditures ending with, so you're going to spend all the money on the airport in 2025 and 2026, according to this. You won't have any ending fund balance. All right, library fund. Well, that's a good one. Transfers in. From where? Where did it come from? Did it come from something from the county, or did it come from a sales tax, or where did it come from? And, okay, expenditures. All it says down there is parks, culture, and recreation. 93, it doesn't tell us anything that you spent it on. Did you spend it on pickleball courts? Okay, cemetery perpetual fund. Says expenditures none. That's kind of fine. I don't know, that doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, what does the cemetery perpetual fund do? You don't use it for something. Is it just going to keep building up at $4,000 a year and just sit over there, or are you going to transfer that from there to some other account? Okay, Shawnee Municipal Authority. Now this is where all the money is, really. Okay, look at 501, Shawnee Municipal Authority. It says transfers in is for proposed $5,167,976 is that's the transfer in. Now where did that come from? Where did it come from? I think you should tell us where it came from, because then it even gets more interesting. Look at I don't understand this, so I'm sure the city managers are going to be cleared up. Utility billing. Now look at 2024, 2025. Utility billing was $918,000. Okay, for 2025, 2026, it was almost $4 million. Now either that's a misprint, or I don't know what it is. But somebody should tell us what the $4 million is going for. All right. Now, then at the bottom it says transfers out of expenditures of $7,153,000. So we got transfers coming in, then we got transfers coming out. That's why nobody can figure out municipal accounting. It's a very mushy endeavor. Okay, now look at the ending budget fund building reserves, balance reserves. It went down 5.41 million. Now, does that mean we lost 5 million this year, or what does that mean? I think that's, I mean, it went from 6.6% to 0 to minus 20%. All right. Now, water system capital funds. Okay, other revenues. Is that, look on that, it says $4 million. Now, is that a loan?
Where is that at? I don't see that. Do you see that, what he just said?
502.
Okay.
Is it a loan?
That's what I'm on, yeah.
That's an odd number. Other revenues are plugged, like $4 million. Now, how does that happen? Now, you have transfers in of $910,000. So whatever that other revenues is, which I kind of think it's a loan, but I don't know that. So then again, on the bottom, you say expenditures, $2,857,000, and there's no breakdown on the expenditures. Sure, you get tired of me saying that. Okay, tax increment finance fund. Okay, goes along, ending fund balance. Well, there's okay. Okay, beginning fund balance is $949,000. Revenue in taxes is $200,000. So that gives you $1.3 million or $1.1 million. Okay, and you spent $30,000 on community development, whatever that is. And I know on those tax increment fund deals, they have to be spent in the area where the tax is accrued. But you have, there's a million, what are you going to do with the $1.1 million, 119? Is it just going to sit there? There's things that we could use in the city. Like we could use a tornado shelter in the city. There's a lot of things we could use. Okay, okay. Now this is on the budget here, proposed budget. There's plenty of room. You have a computer. There's plenty of room on the top of these things. Why do we have to guess what these things are? Why don't you spell it out? Community development, some kind of grant. What does that stand for?
Community Development Block Grant.
Well, why don't we spell that out? We have, typing is cheap. Now, and most citizens can't regularly revert to what these things are. Just put it in there. And then you can always put it in parentheses, CBDGT or whatever you want to put. Okay, and also it says revenue. Intergovernmental, what does that mean? What does intergovernmental mean? What does it mean? Where is it? What government is it? Is it from the county? Is it from the feds? Is it from the, I don't know where, it just says intergovernmental, which is a lot of it, 294,000, that's quite a bit. Okay, so total revenue. Again, community development, we spend 585,000 down from 913,000 for community development in proposed. Well, we need a breakdown now. What is that? And you'll see that that's by spending like we're spending in there, our reserve is negative now. Minus 277,700. That's a minus. Okay, now we go to C, some kind of community grant, CV. What does that mean? And what does ODOC mean?
I actually don't know.
Does anybody know? Anybody know? Anybody know? Bueller. Okay, revenue, intergovernmental, 164,000. Community development, again, which we don't know what you spend it for. Ending budget, fund balance is a minus $7,000. Okay, now we'll go to the aquatic center. All right, we're getting close. We only got a couple more pages to go. Okay, aquatic center. And that's why I think the aquatic center ought to be open on July 4th. I think we need more revenue days. It's not open on Monday, I don't think, is it? It's not open on Memorial Day. It's not open on Labor Day. And it's not open on July 4th. Now, a lot of people can't go to the lake. And so it would be handy if it was open on July 4th. And if you have to pay people a little extra money to work, well, let's open it July 4th. Okay, transfers in $283,000 on the aquatic center. Does that mean it had a loss? Because if you go through the numbers, if it wasn't for that $283,000, we'd have a loss of several $100,000. Okay, the parks, culture, and recreation expenditures, again, a blanket number, $494,000. Like you get son to your husband and say, "What'd you spend the money on?" I said, "Well, I got it right here, $494,000. Well, what's the detail? Well, I don't have to give you detail. Okay, now we look at workers' comp self-insurance fund. Transfers in $828,000. Now, where was it transferred from? Was it, where, does it say? Transfer, that's a lot of money. It's $828,000. Where did it come from? Okay, so that's the only revenue we have for the self-insurance fund. I don't know if we've looked at it lately. Maybe insurance rates have gotten better. Maybe we should take out a policy. At least we'd know what the heck we had. Now we just move $1 million around and hopefully it works out. Okay, so, all right, then, total expenditure. So that it costs us $828,000 to be self-insured, basically, is what it looks like.
Mr. Turner, there's a note on the bottom that says about the workers' compensation self-insurance fund, 2 asterisks.
That's where I was, and I had to go out.
Reflects transfers in from other funds. The associated expense in other funds is
I don't see
reflected.
that on my page.
Maybe go here.
I'm on the large spreadsheet.
Oh, the large spreadsheet. No,
The
I
item-
didn't get that.
So this is an attached item to the agenda item.
Well, this isn't the one I got printed out from the city clerk.
Okay.
I'm sorry I didn't have that. That would have helped, yeah.
So, yeah, but it is on there. A couple of the questions that you had,
Well, it would have been helpful to get that.
not all of them by any stretch, but
Okay,
that one in
well,
particular I see.
I'm glad you pointed that out. That helps.
I don't know if I'm allowed to even talk to you during this, but like, you know, the large piece of paper that you've had before on other fiscal years, the long
Yeah.
legal size?
I
That one
went
is.
down to Mississippi to get this, and
Yeah.
this is all they gave me.
That's the one that's attached to the agenda item. That's the one that has some of these denotations of, well, that
Well-
question in particular, not any of them.
Did
not
it tell
all
you
of them.
what you're gonna spend the community development money on?
That one, I don't see the acronym on the bottom, but that's just because there's no denotation.
Okay, the
extra.
Shawnee Airport Authority, intergovernmental, $180,000. So what is that? Where does that come from? What government? Is it the federal government? Probably is. So why don't we just say, this is from the federal government? Okay, other revenue, transfers in, $410,000. Now, where did it come from? Now, that probably is, even on, with that big spreadsheet you're talking about, I don't think it tells you that. You can't, if you could follow that, I haven't seen anybody able to figure out how the transfers in and out come in.
The only times that it transfers in and transfers out is used on the legal form is for the workers' compensation self-insurance
that's the
fund,
only
but that's
one, but
because of an accounting.
But so on all these other ones, it would be good for them to tell us, where did that come from? Okay, so, cause if it weren't for the $410,000 transferred in, we would have a loss of $410,000 at the airport, basically. And then again, expenditures at the airport, there's no detail. $1 million. So don't we need a detail on that? And it says expenditures. It doesn't say capital expenditures. It just says expenditures. Is this salary or is it what is it?
There's other areas of the airport under insurance recovery that you mentioned earlier. So
You what?
there's other line items from the insurance recovery fund that is listed under airport.
Yeah,
so.
that's a big number.
Mhm.
Airport.
Want that number to be bigger.
Airport, 8,100.
I'd like that number to be bigger if I'm being opinionated.
All right. All right. Now, the wastewater system capital projects fund. This is where all the money is, really, I guess. I don't know. Okay, the revenues, other revenues. Does that mean it's a loan? Is that what that means? Didn't we get a big loan from the Water Resources Board or something for $75 million? It's not revenue. It's not revenue. It should be a loan. And then transfers in. Now there's another $1.2 million, $1.4 million transfer in. Where did it come from? Okay, you know, I don't know if we're supposed to be entitled to expenditures of public works. Here's a flat number, $20 million. No breakdown at all, $20 million. Maybe there is a breakdown somewhere. I didn't get it. And these numbers don't, if you have a zero when you come down in 2024, 2025, and you need percentages, it should have a zero there. If that's a zero, that should say zero. It's a lot of money and we take care of a lot of homeless people and a lot of food banks. And you're just throwing it out the window. Thank you. Any questions of me? No, I wouldn't think so.
Thank you, Fred.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to close public hearing on item number 7. Power Chair, we're going to skip back up to item number 5. Find my way back. Went down a rabbit hole. I got to get back to the different. Okay. Item number 5, consideration of a resolution of the City of Shawnee, Oklahoma, the city, approving the incurrence of indebtedness by the Oklahoma Baptist University Authority, issuing its notes or other forms of indebtedness in one or more series, subseries, or issuances, collectively the note, providing that the organizational document creating the authority is subject to the provisions of the note indenture authorizing the issuance of said note, waiving competitive bidding with respect to the sale of the said note, and approving the proceedings of the authority pertaining to the sale of said note, and containing other provisions relating thereto. We'll call on Joe Vondran, City Attorney, for staff report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners. We've circulated a memo. I know that the commissions had the opportunity to meet with representatives of the Trust Authority with OBU. And so if there's any questions of me, I'd be happy to answer them. Also present is Alan Brooks with Public Law Finance Group to answer any questions that you might have.
Any questions for you guys?
I asked the questions I wanted to know.
Okay.
Yeah, same here.
Okay.
Alan, do you have anything to add?
We are happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Alan. Okay, can we get a motion?
I'll move to approve.
A second.
Got a motion and a second. Call on the city attorney to read the resolution title, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. A resolution of the City of Shawnee, Oklahoma, approving the incurrence of indebtedness by the Oklahoma Baptist University Authority, issuing its note or notes or other forms of indebtedness in one or more series, subseries, or issuances, providing that the organizational document creating the authority is subject to the provisions of the note indenture, authorizing the issuance of said note, waiving competitive bidding with respect to the sale of said note, and approving the proceedings of the authority pertaining to the sale of said note, and containing other provisions relating thereto.
Okay, now we'll vote on the item. Item carries 6-0. On the item back, we're going to switch back by power of the chair to item number 8. Consideration to revoke the cabin site lake lot lease number 2364 for the tract situated at 16,700 Clear Pond Lane. Calling Joe Vonner, attorney for staff report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, and I'll address 8 and 9 collectively. As we've discussed before, but by way of brief refresher, under the city code, the only way that a cabin site lease at the lake can be terminated is by action of this body. In this particular instance, we do have an arrearage of cabin site lease payments. Those were addressed in the public comment section by the individual who was living on the property. Notice was properly sent on multiple occasions. Obviously, we have someone here who's admitted that they understand that they are behind. Ultimately, it is the decision of this board whether or not that lease is terminated. I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have, but from a legal standpoint, pursuant to the terms of the lease, it has been breached. And pursuant to the lease and ordinance, it would be proper for this board to terminate the lease. But it is up to the commission whether or not you do so. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Joe on this item?
What questions? I do want to express that I think that we need to allow the 30 days because there are a lot of other contingencies that will be put in place if this were to be terminated. So I'd rather take 30 days, reevaluate. At that point, we can move forward with termination, but at this point.
Would
it's
that
just-
be like a motion to postpone to another
Yes.
date? If that's the case, I make a motion to defer to the August meeting.
I second.
August?
You give 90? You want to do 90 days?
90?
A little bit less than, but yeah.
June, July.
Because would July be 30? Because we're restarting.
July will be 30.
June will be,
June will be 30.
June's early.
Is it-
July's an early meeting.
It wouldn't be 30 days for June, right, because we had late,
Correct.
so it would have to be July.
Yes, but the motion was for August.
And you seconded it.
Yeah,
so-
that's fine, yeah, that's fine.
So that's August 18th, so we can be specific? So
Correct.
we're deferring the item
Yes.
to the August 18th meeting?
For the August 18th City Commission meeting.
So to be clear, we have a motion and a second to defer this to the August meeting. Okay? So we will vote on this item. Motion carries 5-0. So we'll have to do number 9 separate. Consideration to revoke the cabin site lake lot lease number 2315 for the tract situated at 16704 Clear Pond Road, or Clear Pond Lane. Calling Joe again.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners. I really don't have anything additional to add. We're dealing with the same family, just two different site leases.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to postpone till the August 18th City Commission meeting.
Okay, get a second?
Second.
Motion is second. Okay, motion carries 5-0. Items deferred until the August meeting. Okay, on to item number 10, consideration of an amendment to a consultant services agreement with Freeze and Nichols, Inc. for design services associated with Twin Lake Number 1 Dam. Calling Seth Barkheimer.
Yes,
Staff
sir.
report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This amendment represents a continuation of the city's efforts at the lake in regard to Lake Dam Number 1. If you recall, 2 months ago in March, F&I presented the preliminary engineering report for Lake Number 1 Dam. That report satisfied OWRB as to the condition of our dam, and they lifted the consent order. With that said, that same report made some recommendations for immediate and long-term actions on the lake dam. This amendment works directly towards 3 of those recommendations, which are updating the breach modeling and inundation mapping. It has design services for clearing and grubbing down the stream slope, and design services for riprap replacement on the upstream slope. With that said, staff recommends award of the amendment, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you guys have.
Any questions for Seth on this item?
So we're making progress on the dam, is what you're
We're
saying?
making progress on the dam.
Love it.
Also worth mentioning is that this will be paid for through an ARPA grant.
That was my next
Also
question,
worth
yes.
mentioning.
Can we get a motion?
Motion to approve.
I'll second the motion.
Motion and second. Item 10 carries 5-0. On to item number 11, consideration of a resolution approving a project maintenance agreement, project number HSIPG 4,230 TR, job piece number 3688304, for the installation of highway illumination along Interstate 40 at the Kickapoo Avenue interchange. Again, we have Seth.
Yes, sir, thank you. This item is pretty straightforward. Mr. Mayor, I think you're pretty aware of it. It's a lighting project for the Kickapoo I-40 interchange. The high mast lights were damaged as part of the 2023 tornado. This project replaces those high mast lights along with adding other normal street lights for the on and off ramps of the Kickapoo interchange. This agreement just outlines the city's maintenance responsibility after the installation. So ODOT is covering the installation, and then we will be responsible for the lighting after installation. Staff does recommend approval of the item, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you guys have about the agreement.
Any questions on 11? Get a motion?
Actually, was this originally a CIP project?
It was, we had.
And it's being removed
we
now?
We had a project identified to do this ourselves before the agreement came into fruition.
That won't be on the new one, though?
It will not be.
Because I don't think I saw it.
It's not in the new CIP. So I think it was $270,000 was our project that we had identified, but that was strictly the high mast lights. So the DOT project that they have is a lot larger. They have high mast lights and replacement of some of the median lights and some of the lights on the on and off ramps. So their project cost is much larger than ours, but yeah, we did remove it.
Okay.
I just wanted to make sure.
Okay.
I'll
Motion and
second.
Okay.
Resolution title, Mr. Mayor. Resolution approving a project maintenance agreement with the Oklahoma Department of Transportation for the installation of highway illumination along Interstate 40 at the Kickapoo Avenue interchange.
Thanks, sir. Now we'll call the question. Motion carries 5-0. On to item number 12, consideration of a resolution approving a project maintenance agreement, project number SSP 263C 117 PM, job piece number 3844304 for modification of traffic signals at State Highway 18 and Garrett's Lake Road. Calling Seth once more.
Yes, sir, last time for me. Again, this is great news in my eyes. ODOT has agreed to partner with us on a signal and roadway improvement job on Highway 18 or Harrison at Garrett's Lake Road. As you know, North Rock Creek has grown quite a lot, and we're trying to keep up with traffic in that area. This project intends to partially mitigate that by improving that intersection. Staff recommends approval of the item, and I'm happy to answer any questions you guys have about the project.
Questions on Garrett's Lake Road?
It's good.
Get a motion?
I'll move to approve.
I'll second. Then I'll call on Joe.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. A resolution approving a project maintenance agreement with the Oklahoma Department of Transportation for the modification of traffic signals at State Highway 18 and Garrett's Lake Road.
Thank you, sir. We'll call the question. Thank you, Seth. Motion carries 5-0. Okay, on to number 13, consideration of establishing a Shawnee Downtown Revitalization Project Amendment Review Committee related to the City of Shawnee's Tax Increment Financing District, also known as TIFF. Calling Ryan Harkins.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners. As noted in the staff report, the TIF committee last met in 2017. There's a list of individuals who were on the committee at the time. Some of those individuals are no longer in the community because they either have moved out or unfortunately have passed away, is my understanding. With this amount of time having passed since this committee last met, even though there haven't been projects, there has been discussion about doing other things and questions about the TIF fund and how it could be used. With that in mind, staff's bringing the recommendation that the TIF committee be reconstituted and new members appointed. This is a new topic for some on the commission, so staff's recommendation is that you defer the item to the June meeting so that you have time to think about potential appointees to discuss amongst yourselves. However, if you choose to, you can certainly go make appointments tonight. With that said, staff would be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Who can the appointees be? Anyone?
Anyone. These are all people that had been in the community, so yeah.
But I mean, even commissioners can be, or no?
That's really up to you. So
These are mayor's appointments?
These are mayor appointments. You can make recommendations. The mayor could appoint one of you as part of that committee.
That was
when you look at the spread of names on this, you're seeing someone from the school district at the time, business people in the community, and probably some folks who had ties to the TIF districts themselves. So if you're asking personally what my recommendation is off the cuff, I can give you a range of ideas, but again, I would tell you those are a range of ideas, and I would leave it at that.
Well, we can maybe ask those, but tonight, that's fine.
And so we need to make a motion to next month appoint.
To defer the item, if you want
to do this, defer this till next month.
So that'll get us time to go to Ryan and
Okay,
talk.
so I make a motion on item number 13 to defer to next month for the mayor to come up with appointments for the Downtown Revitalization Project Amendment Committee.
I'll second.
Okay, you have a motion and a second.
Thank you, Ryan.
And motion carries 5-0. On to number 14. Consideration of a resolution updating the city fee schedule by amending portions of the Parks and Rec fees pursuant to sections 21-9 of Chapter 21 of the City Code and providing for the readoption of the city fee schedule in whole. We'll call on Brad Schmidt for staff report.
Yes, sir. This item would provide for a $10 vendor fee for use of our parks. This will provide notification of park use and provide some vendor accountability. So currently what we have is vendors will have an event in the park unbeknownst to staff and then leave the park full of trash or unsanitary conditions. And this would, like I said, this would provide some oversight and accountability for them. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Does this allow them to use electricity and water, or is that a different?
When available.
Okay. Is that still under the same $10 fee, or is that a different fee?
It just depends on the park.
Okay.
What we have available.
That's my only question.
Okay. All right. Can we get a motion in a second?
I move to approve item number 14.
I'll second. Call the item. Thank you, Brad.
A resolution updating the
Oh.
city fee schedule by amending portions of the parks and recreation fees pursuant to section 21-9 of chapter 21 of the city code and providing for the readoption of the city fee schedule in whole.
Thank you, Joe. Motion carries 5-0. No more resolutions. Number 15, annual review of the public safety fee. We'll call on interim city manager Mark Simpson for staff report.
Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, this is our annual review of the public safety fee. In '22, the Board of Commissioners at that time approved a $1.65 fee on utility accounts. Accumulates to about $230,000 a year. By ordinance, we have to review that every year. That's what this is. Staff recommends renewing the fee and continuing it to be reviewed next year, same time.
And the fee will remain the same?
Yes, sir.
Any questions for Mark on that? Okay. Thank you, Mark. On item number 16, consideration of a preliminary plat for Shawnee Twin Lakes, Lake Number 1, Phase 3, case number PPL 01-25, applicant, City of Shawnee, Oklahoma. Calling Ryan Harkins.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So this item comes before you as a continuation of the various plats that staff has undertaken out at the Twin Lakes. This round essentially establishes boundary lines for individual lots that are based on the meets and bounds descriptions of the leases. It just sets that into actual buildable lots and sets pins in place. Staff has reviewed the item. We see no issues with it. Staff's recommendation to Planning Commission was approval. Their recommendation on a vote of 6-0 was to recommend approval to you. And staff's recommendation is concurrent with that. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
The primary reason this is being done is to mitigate any kind of dispute on boundary lines between lessees, is that correct? The
Ultimately,
majority
that
of
is
it?
the first and immediate benefit, yes.
Okay.
It establishes the general boundaries of the lakes and then building into the lines between leaseholders to help with disputes and other issues later on.
Okay. Is there anything else on the, I've had questions is why is there any other purpose for this that's the primary
This
reason,
would be the
correct?
next step in this process, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
What
That's what I wanted.
happens between leaseholders from there is between them.
But as far as like the city's intent,
No,
there's not,
this is
okay.
it.
Okay. This is just to get it on record.
Get it on record,
That's okay.
for the sake of everybody involved.
Right. Okay.
Any more questions for Ryan on item 16? Okay. It's not a resolution, so we'll make a motion,
I'll make a motion that we approve.
I'll second.
and now we can vote. And the item passes 5-0. On number 17, acknowledge monthly sales tax and budget reports. We're calling Kimberly Smith for staff report.
The sales tax for May totaled $2,750,826.54, which includes $4,061.36 in interest. The revenue is distributed across the 8 funds. The receipts in May are from estimated April sales and final sales figures in March. The 2025 collections had a 0.96% increase over May of last year. When comparing collections over the conservative budget projections for May, we are 1% above projections for the month and 0.62% above collections year to date. Use tax for May totaled $435,552.24, which is 9.06% increase projected collections for the month. When you combine the use tax and the general fund portion of the sales tax, the general fund is currently $159,173 below budget projections. If you notice on the second to last page of the report, It charts you compared for the last 12 months. This comparison includes Shawnee's peer cities of Yukon, Ardmore, Muskogee, Bartsville, Stillwater, and Eden. These cities were selected with 3 factors in mind: population, city tax rate, revenue, and revenue per 1% sales tax. All the cities saw an increase in the sales tax from April to May. The last page of the report is a graph that shows the year-over-year sales tax growth by month. It also captures the South Region Consumer Price Index as well as the average year-over-year change for Shawnee sales tax receipts over the last 12 months. 3 out of the last 5 months have been an upward trend when you look at it from year to year. You have any questions?
Any questions on the sales tax? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you,
I've got
Kelly.
one.
Oh,
On,
Mark's got
on
one.
the use tax,
Yes.
how's everybody else, I mean, we're way off. Is statewide, is it that way? Or
I haven't looked, but I can look for you and let you know.
I'm just curious if we're just, if it's trend, everybody's trending that way, or if it's just Potawatomi County.
I'll look into it and I'll let you know.
Okay. Item 18, any new business, Mr. Interim City Manager?
No, sir.
All right, no new business. So, Commissioner comments. Start with Greta.
Oh, thanks for putting me on the spot. Can we go that way this one time? Just once.
I'm left-handed, we gotta go that way.
Lefty weirdo. I actually don't have a lot. Memorial Day is coming up. Everybody be safe. The lake is completely full still, which is beautiful, but I feel like it's gonna be very busy on the water. So if you're on the water, please be safe. Hopefully we will have a great Memorial Day, and thank you to all of our veterans who have served and are serving, and our police and fire who keep us safe during these crazy holiday times. So that's pretty much all I've got.
At 11 o'clock on Memorial Day at our Veterans Park, there will be a celebration with our veterans. Vice Mayor Daniel Matthews will be there to give a speech. I want to say this is great for our animal control, how well things are going for them. That's good. Normally it's a little bit more sad news, so I'm glad to hear that they're finding good homes for these animals. Also, on May 7th, Jefferson had a Ride Your Bike to School Day, and so I rode my bike with my kids, and we went from on down Louisa up to Jefferson, and it was really great. And I want to thank all the police officers that helped us for that, and it was just it was a lot of fun. The kids loved it, and hopefully we can do that more, not just on Ride Your Bike to School Day. And I was grateful that they came and talked about Health Week, and I kind of look forward to see what that's going to look like, you know, for the last of the month, you know. But that's it, and happy Memorial Day, everybody.
Kind of the same thing. Hope everybody has a safe Memorial Day. Nice to see some movement on the dam. We're, you know, kind of getting the maintenance done on that. And appreciate all the reports that finance puts together on this. I'm sure it's tedious. The budgeting is way more involved than I think everybody realizes. I mean, just like if you went item by item of this, we'd be here for months, you know, from a standpoint. So I know Fred means well, but yeah, it's pretty involved. But I do appreciate the staff.
Not much more to add. I would say we got a busy month next month with the adoption of all of this, so we'll have more opportunities to provide the public with more information when it comes to the CIP and to the budget itself. But that's all I've got.
Kind of piggybacking off what Mark said, we do get monthly finance reports, expenditure reports. So I can only speak for myself, but I go over them pretty much with a fine-tooth comb. I don't know what information Fred had to go peruse or browse, but we do keep a pretty good eye on the budget, and it's not just like a regular business budget. It's a whole different animal.
Yeah.
I know we can all attest to that. It's not a regular budget. So, and also want to point out that Commissioner Fichtner, myself, and the assistant city manager, Seth Barkheimer, we went to Vegas to a convention this past weekend to try to bring more businesses to Shawnee. And it was definitely not a working vacation, it was total working, so. I think we walked 25 miles in 2 days or 3 days or something, but we met a lot of good people, made a lot of good connections. We've got a lot of good stuff coming our way. It was really nice to be proud and tell everybody about my city, and a lot of people knew about Shawnee, which really surprised me. And when we started telling them that we've got 30 whatever million coming to our airport, and we just spent 50 or 60 million on the wastewater treatment plant and however other million on the water treatment plant, and it's all new, and they're like, very interesting. So we've got a lot of folks with eyes on us, and I'm proud that 95% of what I heard was positive. So that's all I got, other than be careful on Memorial Day this week. And with that, we will adjourn and go to the Shawnee Airport Authority. Come on. Does it show me in there yet? Oh, there it goes. There we go.
I'm not there yet. Yeah, it doesn't like me.
Oh, no.
We're all staring at you, Mark. If that helps, we're
He doesn't care.
I know. We're just all looking at him.
We're there.
All
Finally.
right.
It did help, see?
You got me now?
Okay. So we'll start off item number 1. Consider approval of consent agenda, minutes from, oh, I don't have to read that. So can I get a motion on item number 1?
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
Motion and second. Item carries 5-0. On item number 2, consideration of amendment to commercial aeronautical use agreement for Red Cloud Aviation. We'll call on Bonnie Wilson, the airport manager, for staff report.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners. Thank you for the time. The staff has received a request from one of our long-term business partners at the airport. Red Cloud Aviation is a commercial aeronautical business on the field that's been with us at the airport since 2015. They currently have authorization to provide certain services to the general public, including aircraft power plant and airframe maintenance, restoration of aircraft, flight instruction, aircraft leasing, and also storage. They have requested an opportunity to amend their current agreement to expand that authorization to offer certain commercial air service operations, cargo, small passenger, limited passenger service, and also agricultural services to include crop dusting and spraying. The amendment would be an administrative amendment to their current lease agreement, just adding to the authorized list of things that they may do in the facility they lease from the airport authority. Staff is recommending approval of that amendment.
It's my understanding, this wasn't an item that the Airport Authority Advisory Board got to see, is that correct?
That is correct, ma'am. Yes, the advisory board's had a little difficulty forming a quorum lately, so the attendance has not been strong. And then with the gentleman who represents Red Cloud Aviation is on the board, actually he's the chairman of that board, having to recuse himself, we were unable to meet a sufficient quorum if he were to recuse himself from the decision process.
Okay. Because I've spoken to one of the advisory board members and a few other people who have emailed me that aren't on the board. I'd like to have this in front of them first because that's their function for us, is to advise us on it. And having met all but 2 of the advisory board members, I trust their judgment on it and like to get their take on it. I don't know, what my other fellow commissioners would think about this, but if possible, I know that their June meeting is before our June meeting, like they usually are before ours each month. I'd like to give it one more shot in front of them if possible. And if it takes me calling some of them or the mayor calling some of them to try to get that quorum, I'd really like for that to happen personally.
Okay. Any other questions for Bonnie?
So if
You gonna-
no other questions, I'd like to move to defer to our June meeting.
Okay, got a motion?
Second.
Have a second? This is to defer this item to June. Motion carries 5-0. On item number 3, consideration of aircraft storage rental rate increases for fiscal year 2025 and 2026. Bonnie's back up.
Indeed. The rental rates for aircraft storage are subject to adjustment at the commencement of each one of the city's fiscal years. There is a policy in place that allows for a simple increase based on CPI. It can also be determined or recommended based on a survey of similar types of services offered by airports in the area who are in the same classification as the Shawnee Regional Airport. My staff is terrific. There's 3 of us at the airport. We work very hard on this to kind of give as broad a spectrum look at what our competitor or similar size, shape, and placed airports are charging. We also this year made sure to include all of the peer city airports that the city of Shawnee uses for similar economic comparisons. And it turns out mathematically the CPI increase and the survey come up with the same recommended increase number for these agreements. And so staff is recommending that we go ahead and apply that increase to the fiscal year 26 rental agreements for aircraft storage, and that we're also asking the airport authority to authorize the city manager to execute the standard renewals for each of those storage leases, which expire at the end of June.
Okay. So some of our peer airports are like Ada, Ardmore, Bartlesville, Duncan, some of those, or that just?
They are either in the
Oh, I see.
class that the OGAA classifies our facility, or there are peer city, which we use for the other economic comparisons, taxation, use fees, things of that nature,
It's
which
like
we thought, giving this
Goldsby.
as a chance to do a nice broad survey to sort of give you as much information as we could where we compare.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay. Any other questions on the increase in rental rates?
What is the frequency at which these are evaluated?
Annually, sir.
Annually? Okay.
Okay. Any other questions for Bonnie on this one? I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Mayor, did you? Oh, yeah, okay.
Mayor made a motion.
Okay. It wasn't popping up on my screen.
And motion carries 5-0. On item number 4, consideration of non-aeronautical use rental rate increases for fiscal year 2025 through 2026. And then Bonnie's up again.
Thank you very much. We actually keep 2 sets of rental rates for aeronautical use, which is governed by the FAA, and our non-aeronautical use, equally governed by the FAA, but on 2 different standards. And many of our agreements have a specific clause in the lease agreement that says that we will increase the rental rates for those non-aeronautical facilities on the beginning of each fiscal year based on the CPI from the prior year. This is not based on a survey per se. As these properties do come available for releasing, that sort of thing, we will do a fair market value assessment, but these are continuations of existing leases with that clause built into the language of the lease that would rise on the CPI. And we're asking permission to increase those rates per the terms of the existing leases.
So am I reading this right, that it's altogether the increase in annual revenue will be $56.70?
That is correct.
Okay.
At 2.9.
At 2.9, yeah. Okay. Any questions on item number 4 for Bonnie?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am, thank you. Motion carries 4-0. And on for new business, Mr. Interim City Manager. Yes, sir. Now we'll adjourn from the Shawnee Airport Authority to the Shawnee Municipal Authority.
Now it's doing it to me.
Item number 1, consider approval of consent agenda.
Hold on, we're not in.
It's doing to us what
It's
it
doing
does
the
to
thing
Hang
again?
on.
To us now.
Hold, please. Oh, wait. Maybe? Do you see me?
Okay.
No? Yes, okay. I thought that was gonna be a no.
I'm in there. Shawnee Municipal Authority? Okay, let me back out and try again. I leave, yes. Join. Oh, it's not liking me now.
Likes to play games.
That'd be quick.
Am I still not in there?
You can do it, just do a thumbs up or thumbs down.
Okay.
Or thumbs in the middle.
I'll do a verbal.
Abstain.
All right, I can do that.
Okay.
Item number 1, consider approval of consent agenda. And can we get a motion?
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
A motion and a second. I'll vote in the affirmative, please.
Mayor Stevens?
Yes. Sorry. Doing so good tonight, too.
I don't know why it's not showing, but I do show 5-0.
Okay. Item 1 carries 5-0. Item number 2, consider bids of water treatment plant sludge removal, North Lagoon. Upon Brad Schmidt for a staff report.
On May 6th, staff received 3 bids for this project of sludge removal. After staff review, recommendation is to award the lowest bid to Denali Water Solutions LLC out of Russellville, Arkansas, for a total bid price of $374,000. Happy to answer any questions.
I'm in reading all this, but it just won't let me vote, right?
I have you present voting.
Oh, I am now?
You can do a thumbs up too if you want to.
Okay.
Or thumbs down, whatever.
So now, okay. So any questions for Brad on this sludge removal? To award the bid to Denali? Okay, I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion carries 5-0. Any new business, Mr. Interim City Manager? All right. With that, we are adjourned.